Chop Soccer Podcast. We are back in the building. Kenzel Washington, what's going on with you?
Nothing, man. Got my little solidarity shirt on for the U.S. men's national team. Like we done had some bad news. I
What bad
mean,
news?
a lot of the first teamers aren't going to be playing in the Gold Cup
Oh yeah.
this year. I mean, I didn't really expect him to, but it hits a little different. Like when you hear it and you hear like people's reaction to it. So like trying to be more like inclusive of people's feelings. So I got my little solidarity U.S. men's national team get up on today. Pour one out for the boys.
The bunch of tattooed millionaires.
Hey man.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Let me get my damn headphone cable out the way. Uh Big weekend coming up. It's Memorial Day weekend, man. What's the plan? You outside? Are you in the
No,
house nursing a nursing a bum knee?
probably inside nursing a bum knee. Probably, probably going through my memories on Memorial Day. Like we go. I mean, I don't know, man. So, like, I think I want to take the boy to see some fireworks out by the lake because we
Yep.
live like really close to the lake. But I mean, other than that, man, like one of my homies is probably grilling. He's got kids. I got a bunch of homies with kids, so like we'll probably get together and like do something like that. But I don't even know what constitutes being outside anymore at my age. So like like it might just be a wrap, bro. Like you might, like you might as well throw some detergent on me, man. Like I'm about to get
Ah,
washed. Like
unacceptable.
he said,
It's unacceptable.
unacceptable, unacceptable. I mean, I might have a couple days where I turn back the clock, but nah, this Memorial Day weekend, I think we gonna lay low. I think we gonna lay
I'm
low.
outside, bro.
You outside?
Yeah, I don't know what. I'm definitely gonna go see my god kids
Okay.
because it's fun to see them when they're off from school. I don't got to worry about anything, so I can just dumb out. We can eat trash and play video games and do all that, and then got to go to school the next day.
Yeah.
So I might do that, but I don't know where I'm gonna run around to. But I want to run around and do something. Uh, Leaving work early tomorrow. We get out at 3. Yeah, and then
Ooh.
we off on Monday. So I want to
Ooh.
travel, to be honest. Maybe I'll just take a short drive or something. Just get out the way for a little bit.
Maybe
Philly
you
or
could maybe you can make it to Monaco.
on whose salary?
I mean, if you can make it to Nice, apparently, like I've been watching these things because I'm gonna go to Monaco before like I die.
Mm,
Like that sounds weird saying it like that, but like I'm gonna go to Monaco. And I've been like looking at trips or whatever, and like you can actually get over and watch the race for like quite affordable. Like, I think people get it twisted because they think you have to stay in Monaco to go.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, like if you can make it to like Nice, like the actual experience once you get there is pretty affordable.
Yeah,
So
that's fire. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up doing something because that's just how I
yeah,
am. But I'm not sure where I want to go. I was originally thinking to take the full 3 days and get out west or something, or I don't
yeah.
know, something just anywhere but here. But yeah, I'm gonna dial it back a little bit and maybe just do like a day trip somewhere or something.
The chop soccer derbies this weekend.
Yes, it is.
I don't know if it's in Chicago or
It's
in New.
here.
Oh, it's yeah. I thought so. I was gonna be like, I don't think we got
It's
a game.
here.
Like, you might have to
Oh,
pop out for that.
I forgot about that.
You might have to pop out for that.
That's on Sunday.
Yeah, that's on Sunday.
Hmm.
Saturday could be like a lay low day, and then Monday is just like you can't go too crazy on Monday because
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
now that I think about it, I do know what I'm doing this weekend. So Arsenal's women are in the Champions League final against
Oh, they
Barcelona.
are. Oh shit.
Yeah. So I'll watch that on Saturday. Sunday's Monaco. So I'll watch that F1 race. Like for both of those are morning things. So I'll probably like watch those in the morning with the boy and then like we'll like hit the streets in the afternoon, like
Yeah.
go to like a museum or something. He loves like museums now, so because he's actually old enough to like interact with shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
and then Monday we'll probably just grill out with like some of the other baby bros from like my soccer team, like who had kids, and like yeah, that's
Good
gonna be my
shit.
Memorial Day. There we go. There we go.
Lined it up, lined it up.
Lined it up. Oh, and I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. Speaking of lineups, woo, woo.
You still go to that same dude we went to?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude was all right. Dude was
yeah.
all right.
He
I
was
was
all
in a
right.
pinch. I was like, yo, get me right. He got me right.
It's all right. He's not at the same shop anymore. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Hair Force is no more because that's where I took you. I took you to Hair Force. That's no more. He's at a new shop now. But like, yeah, same guy.
Okay. Okay.
Same guy. Still looking out.
Let's jump into some soccer conversation. We got Angel City FC. So they have come back into focus due to their improved play on the field. So there has been some conversation about their transition from quote unquote a lifestyle brand to a proper performing sporting organization. And let's dive into this a little bit. Let's see if is this going to be an actually high level team worthy of playing in LA, being amongst the Galaxy, LAFC, the Lakers, the Clippers, and everything else that's going on in LA in the sporting world? Or are they going to continue to be a below average team in NWSL with a lot of flash associated?
I don't. I don't know, man. Like, I think. I think LAFC is kind of like the bellwether franchise for like the NWSL because like everything good that they're known for is like stuff that like women's sports and like specifically the NWSL is known for. But then like the on-field performance, like not for every NWSL team, but for like most NWSL teams has been like shaky at best. Like like you have a couple of NWSL teams that are just like dominant, and then like everybody else is just kind of like inconsistent where they're like bad for a little bit, they're good for a little bit. So like I feel like Angel City is like the perfect bellwether for this, and I want to get your thoughts on some of these things
Okay.
because like some of their off-field stuff is like really good, but like I don't know how much I like care for it. So like Angel City has like some really like popular celebrity owners, I guess. So like, they got like Serena Williams, like Natalie Portman, like they had like that artist Becky G or whatever, like names people would know. Like I'm not really a fan of celebrity owners. Like I understand it's like good for like off-field branding or stuff like that, but I'm not really a fan of celebrity owners. Like are you a fan of celebrity owners?
Uh, am I a fan of celebrity owners? No, but not for that reason. I am not a fan of them for being a fan of celebrities, but I am a fan of celebrity ownership because I think it is good for anyone that has made enough money to be able to invest in that way to do so. I think there are, any number of ways to invest money, right? To
Yeah.
sustain yourself and your family for generations to come. But yeah, I think doing it through sport is really cool because it's fun, right? It's
Yeah.
something that is going to be around a long time. It has the potential to just be even for a long. There's not too much up and down, so I think
Yeah.
it's just kind of a safe investment. So yeah, if
Very
you
safe.
can do it,
Yeah.
absolutely do it. I'm going all the way back to probably our first episode. One of the conversations I was saying is like, if you're a player and you're making, X amount of millions a year, like, yeah, you can invest in all the big players, but get into one of these local teams. If you want to do something for your community, front a lower league team and
Yeah.
you own it outright. You don't need input from somebody else. Like, yeah, you want to hire some professionals that can help you do well and perform at a decent level for where your club is in the pyramid or whatever, but you could do it for way less and have much more control and do much more for your community. So I'm a fan in that way, but I'm not a fan of celebrities as a whole.
Yeah, I think you raise a really good point, or actually a really good couple of points, about how it's good. Like, it's a good vehicle. Sports teams are a good vehicle for like celebrities to invest their money. I think the thing that kind of sways me away from being a fan of like celebrity ownership is from the team side.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how much the branding brings people in unless you are like those celebrities, right? So like unless you have an audience that is used to you selling things, or you have like an audience that like responds to you selling things, like I'm just not sure how much like being an owner of a sports team as a celebrity like influences people to like get involved in that. And I
Right.
think that's kind of what Angel City has done well is like they have people that are they have celebrities that you know their value of celebrity has always translated well into selling things, like like Natalie Portman sells movies, right? Like Serena Williams, like she's a sports star, but in being a sports star, like she pushes like Nike, Gatorade, like like she pushes retail stuff. Like Becky G sells music, right? So like I think for them in a very niche way it works, which is why it's worked well for Angel City. But I'm just not sure like if you are like let's say you're just like a like rando football player or rando basketball player who's not really at that level where like people associate like you with like being a spokesperson for things,
Hmm.
like from your position, like your side, 100% it's a great investment for them because it's a great vehicle for them to park their money. But I'm not sure how much that money like expands the way like Angel City has kind of like shifted when it comes to like different things that they do, like ticket sales, like they just have like a monster valuation. Like I'm just not sure how much of that translates if you're not like that high level, like yeah, what's old boy from Deadpool, Ryan
Oh,
Reynolds.
yeah.
Yeah, like if you're not like that level, like Serena level, like Becky G, like I just find it hard for like you to actually bring any value to the team side the way that the team brings value to you as a vehicle to park your money.
Yeah, I definitely see that because when we look at Kevin Durant with the Philadelphia Union or James Harden with Houston Dynamo, Yo Gotti with DC United,
Yeah.
like I don't never see them at a game. I don't never see them in any promo. You know what I mean? Yo Gotti had the crazy DC United logo chain made. I'm like, that shit is fire.
Yeah.
Where is it? Like,
Where is it? Yeah.
if they're not, investing, the investment needs to be more than just the money, the cash, right? The investment needs to be in using your celebrity to market the team in such a way that revenue is up for everything. It works out for everybody. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why they don't do it. If I was in that position and I'm Yo Gotti, I make that chain. I'm at every home
Everything's
game
here.
in
Hmm.
that chain. Make sure I'm seen on this screen. I'm doing a track that I'm going to sell that's going to be, based around that. It's really not that difficult, right? This country is absolutely fucking obsessed with celebrity. So they could do the bare minimum and it would, return significantly outsized value. So I don't know what that's about. Um, you know, we know this too because we've seen it like with Jay-Z and the Brooklyn Nets. He was at every game, he was courtside, he was I'm the owner, he was rapping about it. And that team is they're doing well,
Hmm.
right? They haven't really won anything yet, but the energy that he brought and kind of just made that Brooklyn's team is is undeniable. So yeah, I just wish whatever the celebrity is, whatever their reasons for doing it are, they should use their celebrity to better market the team, and that is something I have not seen much of at all.
Yeah. But like that's one of the great things that Angel City has done. Like their celebrity owners, they go to the games. Like
Okay.
their celebrity owners, like they're draped in like Angel City stuff. Like, their celebrity owners are known around LA. Like, in terms of off field kind of like branding success, I think um I think that is between that and the way they just kind of focused on branding stuff. I think those are like really the highlightable successes that they have.
Hmm.
Jesus Christ, what is happening? It's always something in this neighborhood, man. Like I thought I moved up here to get away from the shit. I'm like,
Now you at where they where they having heart attacks.
no, I'm out. Yeah, I moved from where they were shooting to where they having heart attacks. Like I can't get away. Can't get away. But like I think when we juxtapose like what Angel City is known for, like with the good stuff, we also kind of have to touch on the bad stuff. Like I didn't realize that Angel City, I don't think they've ever won a playoff game. Maybe one they've
Mhm.
won, but for sure, like they haven't been to the playoffs a lot. They might have won one playoff game. They actually got a 3-point ban last year for like breaking salary cap rules.
Is that
Like
bad though?
for breaking salary cap rules?
Yeah. Like I understand it's illegal,
Yeah.
but is it bad?
I mean, how do you feel about the old adage if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying? Like
Exactly, man.
I mean, okay, okay, I could see that, but I mean, like, it definitely does leave a lot to be desired from Angel City when it comes to just like their own field performance. Like, would you knowing how difficult it is for expansion clubs, because Angel City isn't like one of the founding NWSL members. Like people forget that too. Like they were an expansion club. Like
They're in year 4, 5.
somewhere between there. Yeah, maybe I actually want to say like yeah, I want to say year 4. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say year 4. Um but knowing how expansion clubs like how difficult it is, do you think they should have won more? Like or like do you think this
Um,
branding thing
do
has
I
just
think
been
they should have
immaculate
won
for them?
more? Yes, I do. Because while the women's game is different, it is different in such a way that it should have been actually easier for them to win sooner.
Mm,
So in MLS, we're up to 30 teams now.
yeah,
And we've seen basically the last 6 to 8 expansion teams have kind of come in blazing.
yeah,
And even if they weren't blazing right away, they figured it out pretty quickly.
quickly,
So
yeah,
LAFC blazing, NYCFC, rough first season, but second season they were already competing for the top of the table. Uh, finished. They had whew, top five finishes in like the four out of the first 5 years or something like that. So that's
Yeah.
that's not easy to do in MLS,
Yeah.
especially when you're kind of like piecemealing teams together as an expansion club through the expansion draft, and then you're pulling players from wherever and working from nothing, trying to build an identity and a play style and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So with NWSL, you have far fewer clubs, basically a third of the clubs.
Yeah.
You do have the expansion draft, but you have the ability to come in and not have so much to compete with out of the gate. So you should be able to figure out a good team that can compete, get a good manager in, develop an identity, and then within 2 to 3 seasons you can start winning because there just aren't that many people you're playing anyway. So I
Yeah.
feel like with the amount of celebrity that they had, um, it should have enticed the best of the best as far as players go, and they should have collectively drummed up enough energy to produce some highly competitive soccer.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were making the right hires, right? We talked many times on the pod about Eni Aluko going there and blah blah blah. Like, why is it not working? We know Kristen Press got hurt, but okay, that happens in sport. What else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of shocking that they have not won much.
Yeah. I never really thought about it in that way. I attributed their lack of winning down to more of like a ownership, like lack of direction kind of level, where you know for all the good things that like startup culture provides in terms of like you're off the field, like being very agile with how you move, and how you're able to market and things like that. Like startup culture is really good for that. With all of that, I think the thing that startup culture is really bad at, that people ultimately like shift away from startup culture from, because is that like it's very difficult to establish a clear direction with startup culture. Like it's very difficult to have like one leading voice in the room that like gets to make unilateral decisions. And in the world of sports, for good or for bad, like you need someone in the room who like the buck stops with, right? And you can tell in a lot of situations where like even if you have a bad owner, like you still end up lucking your way into some stuff, because like they're not gonna make every bad decision. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like a
Mm-hmm.
broken clock is right 2 times a day. Like, you can stink so bad you end up with good players just because of like, the draft, or just like getting lucky. Like, you can, like if you have one person making decisions, you can luck your way into some stuff like a lot more times than you can. So like I really didn't think about it from the perspective of like in NWSL there's so few teams that like the talent pool is so large that like it's almost like impossible to like it's almost impossible to pick as bad as you're picking
Right.
unless like one person isn't making all the decisions, right? So
Right.
like that is a very interesting like take, right? Like I didn't even consider that, like on top of not having one person making all the decisions, because like if one person's constantly picking bad, then like eventually they're gonna have a streak of like picking good players, right? But like if everybody gets like a couple picks, like, it's possible that, if you pick twice, I pick twice, somebody else picks twice, somebody else picks twice, we could all have bad picks and all of our luck could be bad for like the same period of time. But
Hmm.
because we all have these small picks, like the whole team ends up being bad. Like, and that's not to say that like Angel City's whole team is bad because like they've had quite a bit of like on-field misfortune with like the Kristen Press injury and just like, maybe like some questionable like picks around bringing like older players in into like a younger league and things like that. But yeah, that's really interesting. I never really thought about the talent pool being like so deep in such a shallow team league that like they definitely should have been better than what they are.
Definitely should have been
They
better.
definitely should have been better than what they are. So what so I guess how much do you think um how much do you think off field branding matters just like in total,
It fucking matters. At the
right?
end of the day,
Like
right? So, these are my favorite conversations because I think it is so important for fans to be smarter fans.
yeah,
And when I say smarter fans, it's not to insult people like they're stupid and they don't know what's going on, but you must never forget that these are businesses, and
yeah,
the businesses' ultimate goals are to make money. So for me, and the way I participate with sport, like the passion is there for sure, but I also understand that the marketing needs to be there as well, because if you can't market your team well, you can't market your product well, then people are disinterested. And if people are disinterested, then your team is not making money. It's not bringing out people who are buying merchandise and spending money at concessions and traveling to see you play, this, that, and the third, right? They're not donating at your charity auctions and events and whatever, right? And when that happens, the investors say, look, this is not profitable. I'm spending X, I'm making back less, I'm out. And then the thing is gone, right? New York Cosmos, right? Rocco Camiso, he got all the money. He owns Fiorentina, this, that, and third. Could not figure out how to make the Cosmos work. And they're gone, right? And that team, regardless of how Red Bull fans feel about them or NY City FC fans feel about them, they had a proper fan base. They had a culture. They had history. They had a lot going on there, and it's just gone, right? So it's super important for a sports team like Angel City, like any other league's team, to market and provide a product that gives fans some emotional attachment that they want to be involved in. If you're not doing that, then it's just bad business. And if it's bad business, it's bad sport, and then it's sport that doesn't exist. So it all goes hand in hand. Unfortunately, we could harp on the passion, passion, passion all we want to, but that's not how this shit works.
so do you think it matters more than winning in some instances? Because you're always going to have your traditional fans that are like, winning is everything. Like, I support my team because like, they've traditionally been winners, like whatever, whatever. Diehard fans who like, believe in the sport. But like, then you're gonna have like a lot of casual fans that are like just around, like, as you said, like, for the vibes, like, because like, the branding was tight, like, do you think that like do you think the winning like do you think you can be a successful franchise that wins but has horrible branding, or do you think, having bad branding, like which one do you think would last more, like a franchise that wins that has bad branding, or a franchise that has great branding but never really wins?
Um, One that has great branding, but doesn't really win.
Okay.
C, New York Mets.
Yeah.
C, New York Knicks.
Yeah.
C, Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See
Like,
Angel City. Like, yeah.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
perennially bad, like not winning. But for certain markets, this is not a goal. This should never be a team's aspiration. But if you find yourself in a situation where you know you don't have the money to keep up, then you have to lean into who you are and what you are as a brand, as a community, and sell that. And when
Yeah.
you can do that, the people are with you because now you are different from the big bad evil money, hungry teams or whatever.
Yeah.
So if we look at what's a good example? I can't even think of one right now. Cleveland Browns, I guess. I don't know much about the Cleveland Browns, but I would imagine, they want to win, right? But it also is so fun to be in the dog pound, and we're not great. We're not gonna have the best talent all the time. We're probably not gonna be in the playoffs, but we're a small town, working class. Our tickets are affordable. This is something for everybody. We can bring the kids. It doesn't cost us, $15,000 a season to be here. This is what makes us unique and special. Are we winning? No, but it's our thing and that's okay. So I think there is a need for that.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to be the Yankees, right? Everybody's not going to be the Lakers. It it's just not how that works. But whatever it is that makes your sporting culture unique and how that relates to your city's culture, you have to figure that out and also try to win as much as you can.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because like when people think branding, they think like, oh, like we have to be dominant on social media and like blah blah
Nah.
blah 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 blah. Like, no, your brand is like how the local people that you engage with and are gonna buy your items like relate to you. And a lot of brand is identity based, and I think I think you're right when it comes to like it being more important to have a good brand if you're not winning as opposed to like winning and not having a good brand, because like
You can win
people,
and who cares?
yeah, you can win and who cares? Like if you don't have an identity that like people really care about, like, it doesn't really like translate. Like there, it's no secret I'm an Arsenal fan,
Hmm, hmm.
and like Arsenal has a clear like identity, like a very clear identity. Like for a long time, we were the black team, like the team of like any famous black player that like in the world of football that like you knew that was like exceptional. They played for Arsenal or they're related to Arsenal in some type of way. We've inspired a whole generation of footballers, like, and now like we win a lot, but we don't and now we're known as the cool team. Like all of our
Mm.
jerseys are fire, all of our color sets are fire. Like we have a very clear identity of just being connected to people that way, where we haven't won a lot of trophies in the past like 20 or so years, but it doesn't really matter because like the identity's there. Almost so much so where like people talk about Arsenal before they talk about their own club, whether it's to like make fun of them or like whatever, right? Like we're still being talked about because we have
Hmm.
a very clear identity that either puts people on one side or the other. And like that's a brand. And I think that Angel City is much like that in the way that, like, while a lot of NWSL teams like kind of struggle to like have a clear identity, like whether or not Angel City wins or not, like you know that like their colorway is absolutely fire. Like that pink and black is just
Hmm.
like sheesh. Like
The logo alone with the
the
wings, like that shit is
the
beautiful.
logo is fire. They always got some stunners on that team.
Yeah.
Like they always
Shout
got
out to
some.
Matt Wolf, by the way. Matt Wolf did the third rail logo.
Yeah, they always got like they're just going to be tight in that way. Like, they're going to be, beautiful women in like fly kits playing soccer. It don't matter if like, they're winning or not winning. And I think that goes a really long way in terms of casual identity, like for the casual fan, because you don't break attendance numbers with like diehard fans,
Right.
right? Like it's got to
Right.
be a mix of
The
everyone.
supporter section is usually capped at like 3,000 for a reason.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're not having like your whole your whole stadium isn't going to be full of like people who would like normally fit in the supporter section. So I think you're really right about that. But I do still kind of want to hold space for the idea that like winning matters.
It doesn't matter. It can't matter, Ken. Like that, I'm gonna fight you on. It cannot matter because there's can only be one winner.
Yeah, but I
The
mean,
rest of y'all are just trying to win. So it cannot be the most important thing.
it can't be the most important thing, but you have to put a good product out on the field.
Uh, Even that's debatable.
I I
Even
mean,
that's debatable.
I think the only reason I feel like that, I think, is because like more so in sports than like a lot of other areas, like credibility of credibility is important,
Mhm.
right? Like the difference between wrestling and like a lot of other sports, like pro wrestling, like quote unquote pro wrestling, and a lot of other sports, is because there's no credibility in pro wrestling because we know there are no actual winners and losers,
Mhm.
you know? And I think that matters in sports. While you don't have to be like a penultimate winner, while you don't have to win like every time at everything you do, I think you have to win enough to maintain credibility.
No, you don't. So here we go.
Okay, okay,
I had to pull this up real quick.
okay.
So this is January 4th, 2025 article. 25 sports franchises that have always been losers, right? So I'm a yeah, yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay, 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 okay. Let's talk about
Number
the brand.
one,
Let's talk
because we
about
got to
these
go from the
brands
top
too.
down on here. Number
Okay,
one,
let's just do like
the
the
New
top.
York Jets.
Let's do like the top five or something.
Okay,
Well, we'll
number
do the
one,
top 10.
the New York Jets.
Oh, they got a bad. That brand is horrible though.
Are you out of your mind,
I mean, maybe in the tri-state area, like they're still good.
Broadway Joe?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, what are you? Are you talking about the
I said,
biggest
I said,
media market in the world? Can't wait. What?
yeah, I said that, and then I immediately thought of Joe Namath in a fur coat. But
What are
like
you
that was when they were good. Like they're like
They weren't good.
yeah, they really weren't that good.
They weren't good.
Yeah. I guess the highlight, they've never won a Super Bowl, right?
They have won a Super Bowl,
They have won
I
a
think.
Super Bowl.
That I don't remember, but
Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll agree to disagree on the Jets brand. But like I take your point with the Jets. Okay, who's number 2?
yeah. I also want to slide in. I've been to Jets games.
Yeah,
I'm
the
a Bills
Meadowlands,
fan,
right?
so I usually go at the end of the season when we play them at MetLife.
Yeah.
I would go over because the
Okay.
tickets would be dirt cheap because the Jets were for sure ass. And for sure, people just tuned out by this point of the season, so I can get tickets for pretty cheap to see them, much better seats for far less money.
Yeah, that's fair.
But those fans turn out. The guy, the Jets guy, Jets,
ETS,
Jets,
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 Jets.
Jets.
Like
Yeah.
that energy has been around
Yeah.
and that team is ass. They'll come to the game, put paper bags on their head. They're still
Yeah.
there,
And
right?
low key, that Jets logo is kind of
It's clean.
like the J. Oh
It's
yeah, yeah,
clean,
that thing is clean. Dang, now
right?
I want some Jets merch. Now I want like some vintage Jets merch because that logo is clean. Yeah.
All right,
If you,
number two, right?
okay.
Detroit Lions.
Ooh, they got good recently though, but yeah, yeah, that's fair. We
Detroit
don't even
Lions,
have to debate that. All right, who's number
right?
three?
Number three, Charlotte Hornets. So this one,
Yeah.
yes, they're bad. I don't know what their fan base is like. Maybe you can tell me more about this one as you were in North Carolina. However, I do have to say they were a highly culturally relevant brand
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because of jerseys.
Oh, jerseys, the starter jackets, like the
Yeah,
colorway,
Larry
like
Johnson, the little bee looking
grandmama.
joint. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said a bee looking joint. It's a hornet. What the
it's a
fuck?
horn.
The bee
Yeah,
looking joint is crazy. The
bro.
little hornet hat.
The
Yeah, man.
Charlotte Hornets in the '90s
Many a rap
were,
video.
whew, yeah, and they weren't really that great. Like, I mean, I guess they made it to the playoffs a couple times, like the first or second round of the NBA playoffs. But like, yeah, they weren't really like, yeah, they weren't really good. But like, okay, okay, I'm rolling. Keep going, keep going. What are we at? Five now?
Number four,
Number four.
San Diego Padres.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those hats are iconic. Like like the SD hats. Yeah, those are
The
iconic.
brown, the yellow, like
Yeah,
everything about this is weird. But
yeah.
hey,
Okay,
here
who's
we
number
are.
five?
Number five, Buffalo Sabres.
I don't, that's hockey. Somebody have to tell me about that one.
Buffalo with two sabers crossed under it.
Oh
It's yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've seen those jerseys out in the wild.
They they got to be on this list somewhere, but are they on here? No. All right, the Browns are 14. Let me
Wow,
do five.
that's low for the Browns. What's 6 through 10, and then we'll just keep going.
Five is the Houston Texans.
Oh yeah,
Six, Cincinnati Bengals.
yeah,
Seven, Minnesota Timberwolves.
yeah.
Eight, Washington football team.
The
The
Washington football team,
Commanders.
the Commandos. Yeah,
Commanders. Bro, look, once they got rid of Dan Snyder,
they started winning.
they
Yeah,
started winning.
started winning.
Uh Number nine,
Why you smiling? Was it like the Knicks? Who is it?
the
Buffalo Bills?
Chicago Fire.
Yo, cut this man's mic. Cut this man's mic. Cut this man's mic. You are shit.
Ooh-wee.
You're
It's number
kidding.
nine.
All right, let's do one more and get out of here. Let's do one more and get out of here.
Number 10, the Washington Wizards.
That's fair. That's fair. Cause like after that rebrand, they had to rebrand out of the Bullets. And
Hmm.
then like since that rebrand,
So
woof.
there are a lot of absolutely shit franchises that are still bringing people out, that people still support. People
Yeah.
know they're going to be bad. Um, but it just is what it is. When
Yeah.
it's yours, you still got to stick by it.
But I
FYI, the
still
Mets are on here, as I said, as are the Islanders. Like the Islanders, like that's a Long Island thing.
yeah.
They're like, this is our shit. This is where the Italians go. This is
Yeah.
for us. We got a whole different vibe from the Rangers, a whole different vibe from the Devils. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that. There can only be one winner each season anyway.
Yeah.
So you have to be selling something much bigger than just the game itself, especially when you ain't winning shit.
But I mean, I still contend that like every team you've named there, they might not have won like a championship or like they might not have had sustained periods of excellence, but they had little spurts in there. Like you can pick any team on there and I can tell you a run where they've had where at least they were credible.
Let's start with the Chicago Fire. Okay, expansion season, win the MLS Cup. Second season, did they win the MLS Cup? I don't
No,
think they
but I
went
mean,
back to back, but they had some early success in the expansion years.
they had some
After that, then
success.
what?
They had some success in the 20 like in the late 2000s, I believe. I want to say it's the late 2000s, like early 2010s. They were a playoff team. Like we didn't make it that far. I think we might have made a conference championship. Hold on. Let me see. I am pretty sure year by year. Um, yeah, here we go. I think it was, let's see, 2000. Yeah, here we go. Playoffs. Okay. 2000, 2006 quarterfinal, 2007 round of 16. Um, no, that's the Open Cup. Hold on. All right, overall position.
Exactly. My
Overall
point is
position.
proven.
No, no, no. Here we go. Here we
You
go.
got a
Overall
needle in a
position.
haystack any winning for these motherfuckers.
Overall position. 2000 from 2007. Okay, let me up until 2009, we were credible. So like from 2005 to 2009, we went fourth, fourth, seventh, third, fifth. Not saying it's the best. And then we had a sixth place in the East finish in 2012. 2017, we finished third in the East. Not saying that's like, amazing, but no, that's third in the supporters shield. So yeah, like all of these have kind of been like we've had some patches in there
Yeah, if you
to
say
keep,
so.
but I mean to keep it credible, like we haven't been the bottom the whole time. We haven't been the worst in the league the whole time. So I don't know. I'll die on that hill. Like you got to win something.
No,
Like you got to
don't
win
die
some
on that hill.
games. You got to win some games.
Sure, you have to win some games because they're professionals, but
Yeah.
ultimately, the winning is not the thing that's keeping the fans there. Case in point, y'all were so desperate to shake off the not winning, y'all had two rebrands.
Whew. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean that latest rebrand is alright.
No, the current one is nice. That one they had in the middle with the fucking spike shit, that was
Yeah.
awful.
Okay.
That was some kid graphic design class garbage. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that.
The wilderness. We
But
were in the
they
wilderness.
quickly
Yeah.
corrected course, and a new one is nice. It
Okay.
can maintain some of the heritage, and does something new. So yeah, like those things matter. But I've said this so many times on this pod. The greatest hat in the world is a New York Yankees fitted.
Yeah.
Go anywhere in the world, and they selling that damn hat.
Yeah.
And that brand awareness, people they ain't watch a damn sport a day in their life. They will tell you that's the New York Yankees.
Yeah. And
You
they don't care
can't
about baseball at all.
don't they ain't watch nan baseball. They don't even watch their kids' baseball games, and they could tell
Yeah.
you that's the New York Yankees.
That's the Yankees.
You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
fair.
So that type of thing is should be what any sports franchise is trying to aim for, is to have their brand identity permeate through sport and outside of sport, like a Real Madrid. There are some logos, or LA Dodgers. There are some logos you just see it. It don't have to say nothing. You know what it is. Dallas Cowboys, right? Like
Yeah,
there's a million stars, but that one is a
that
Dallas
one is the
Cowboys. You know
Cowboy
what I mean?
star.
So
Yeah.
that's what you want. If you can do that, then hopefully you have enough revenue to hire smart enough people to turn that revenue into a competitive product.
Do you think Angel City is that for the NWSL?
Is what?
Probably the best brand in the NWSL.
Absolutely fucking not.
Who do you think has the best brand in the NWSL?
Portland Thorns.
Wow, I was not expecting that. I would say Angel City has the best brand in the NWSL.
Mm-mm.
Why do you think Portland has the best brand?
How do I? If I were to take a room full of 100 people,
Uh huh.
half of them sports fans in general, the other half not, and I put an Angel City jersey on one side and a Portland Thorns Rose jersey on the other side, and just A or B test them. Pick one. Portland is gonna fucking smoke Angel City. They're gonna smoke Angel City with that Thorns jersey. The
You
rose
just
one with the crazy one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? So that type of, it's so specific. It's so, this is Portland Thorns. Angel City is like what, like, and you can't put Angel City on it. Just the bare logo with the little wings. And like, what is
yeah,
that? And if you the half that room off rip, they don't know sports.
yeah.
They're gonna be
S-
like, oh, Angels something.
Maybe angels, maybe
Yeah.
birds. Like, yeah, okay, I see what
Pixies,
you're
the
saying.
fairies, I don't know.
Yeah, but
You
with
put that
Portland,
Portland shit down, they be like
they'll
Rose,
clearly know it's
Thorn, and
something.
it all
Yep,
fits
all
because
fits.
Rose City, Thorns,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
it's it's just different, bro. They got the best shit.
Okay.
Gotham has gotten better. Their new one, that sky blue was garbage.
Yeah.
So moving to Gotham, like that is clean. Depending on which of the logo things you use, that one could be pretty strong, but it's gonna take time. It just hasn't had enough time in the market to really be Portland level heavy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there have been a lot of changes to logos in the NWSL. So
Y-
outside of the Thorns, I can't even think of another one right now.
I mean, there aren't that many. I will say this: there aren't that many NWSL logos
Yeah,
that
these are
aren't
horrible.
that aren't
Like
kind
all of these are
of.
ass, but they're not fucking with Portland
Yeah. I
because
mean,
most of them are
maybe.
new. The
Yeah.
Bay is new. The Red Stars is new. Houston
And
Dash logo is new. KC's logo is new. Gotham's logo is new. The Courage has theirs, but that's a fucking line. No one's gonna call that the Courage
courage.
unless
Yeah.
you follow sports. Orlando Pride, what even is that? Racing Louisville, that's gonna be a classic,
Yeah.
but it looks New Orleans to me, but whatever. San Diego could, that one could get there because it's a wave, and
Yeah.
that,
Because it's a wave.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one's probably gonna get there, but it's new. OL Reign is new. The Royals is new, and the
Yeah.
Spirit is the only old one.
Yeah. A lot of these,
They're not messing with Portland, bro.
a lot of these, if you strip the wording off of it, then you're right. The name association just isn't
Bro, look
really
at Portland
there.
Thorns logo with just the thorns and the oh, that shit clean.
Yeah, because
What?
you could take Portland Thorns off of that and still kind
That
of
bitch
get like
hard.
a flower, like yeah, get the thorns. Okay, yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess from just like a purely brand perspective, I would like I can't not disagree. Like I can't disagree with you. Um yeah, okay. I mean, I still think Angel City just pound for pound is probably the best brand. Um for me, I think just the overall aesthetics of everything that they put together, like the colorway, like, you know, the way that they present, um, like, you know, the way that they kind of carry the branding
Mm-hmm.
of
It's
just like
beautiful.
being glamorous and
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're all
Elegant.
very beautiful people. Like, you know, like I think that goes a long way in telling your story. Like if you did that in, I think specifically because it is LA, like I think if they tried to do that in a place where like that stuff isn't really a part of the story. So like if you did that in like a working class city, I'm not exactly sure it would fit, but like that's kind of how everybody carries himself in LA. So I think it only like accentuates like the identity of the team, the way we were talking about earlier. I think that like in terms of like identity, pure identity, I think Portland does a really good job because that really does reflect like culturally the cities, like, you know, the Rose City, like, you know, like the team is the Thorns, like, you know, like I think, but then I don't think Portland has the cultural like resonance of like a LA or a New York, which is like a really high bar. Like those are the top two cities in America. So I mean, like it's a really kind of an unfair thing to say, but I I kind of think that like, you know, because of that also like Angel City kind of gets the nod for me because they are like I think it kind of hits different the way you talk about the Yankees. Like the Yankees wouldn't have the same like cultural relevance if they were like the Philadelphia Yankees or something like that, right? Not saying like Philadelphia is not a great city, but like people don't like idolize or like that's not the word I'm specifically looking for, but you know what I mean. Like people
Yeah.
don't mythologize. People
Right.
don't mythologize like other places the way they mythologize like New York or the way they mythologize LA. So for me, that kind of it's kind of unfair, but it does a lot of the work for the brand if you get the brand right to kind of be in touch with like that kind of cultural mythology of the city. Like when people think of
That's exactly what I said of the city.
yeah,
So
of the city.
I'm in
Yeah.
agreement with you on that point. The Yankees are what they are as a brand because they didn't shy away from we are representing the best of the best in everything that we do. We are representing excellence,
Yeah.
right? So everything in their ethos is about excellence. You got those results because they insisted your name doesn't fucking matter. This team matters. We don't put names on our jerseys,
Yeah.
just your number, right? We're wearing a pinstripe because it's classy, right?
Yeah.
We no facial hair, right?
Yeah.
We want you to this is a business. We got shit to do. We got things to win. Everything they do is at that level, right? And
Yeah.
then you said Philadelphia. Philadelphia is they're trying to lean on we're a working class city, we're this, we're that. Yeah, and that's what you've gotten. Like you've gotten the working class I'm and that's not it's not like I know it sounds crazy to just say it straight that way, but
Yeah, but that's what it
this is
is.
what it is.
Yeah,
Like
that's what it
those
is.
those cultural decisions matter.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot with it, you can do nothing with it. Look at the Buffalo Bills right now. That's another franchise that has been we are that there's nothing in Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills are
Yeah.
the only thing that makes Buffalo have. any relevance outside of Griselda.
Yeah,
And
and
then
wings.
Griselda just got here.
Yeah,
So they've been decades of we had a good run in the 90s and we've been super shit since then. They've tried everything in between. They have finally gotten to a point where they're getting a new stadium, they're winning. You know, the community has always been engaged with them, but they have finally figured out through making smart hires how to get this team competing at a really high level.
yeah,
And if they can sustain it over the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to change the entire city of Buffalo. Because
yeah,
now it changes the whole culture of everything, right? We're no longer just the guys here that are going to come shovel the snow out of the stadium for $20 an hour. We are a winning culture and we
yeah.
change how we think about ourselves as individuals here. And we want to grow as the team is growing. I want to be able to afford these tickets. I want a better job. I want a better this. I'm sending my kids downstate for a better education, whatever, whatever. All that shit ties in, bro. It's all connected. I know it sounds may sound super far fetched to somebody to listen to this on the other side, but I'm telling you that shit matters, man.
Is that what you think's ultimately going to be the next step for Angel City? Is like now they've got all the branding stuff together, but for people to actually start taking them seriously as like a real franchise, like they're gonna have to kind of like raise this bar that like okay like we look good, like we have a lot of beautiful people, our branding is fine or whatever, but for people to take us seriously in the sports pantheon of like the Lakers and the Dodgers and like these teams that like people really care about in LA, like is that going to be the next step? Is that really what winning is like you can have all the branding and everything, but winning is the thing that like actually puts you in that elite company?
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're not going to really, really win until they take some of the polish off, right? Like
Yeah,
you're too clean for the size of the league and the nature of a large swath of the NWSL's fan base is too polished.
yeah,
You have to.
they're almost like the mean girls of like the NWSL.
Woo! That's a great way to put it because I don't know what the hell I was about to say, but that's it. That's a thank you for saving me from myself
Yeah,
because I
okay,
was about to say something probably way crazy. But I just experienced this because I went to the New York Liberties ring ceremony. They just had the
yeah,
first game of the season against the Aces. I was there, and bro, what they've done with that team is beautiful. It is beautiful. They are selling women matter here. That's it. It's very
yeah,
simple.
very simple.
Ellie the elephant, this girl is I don't know who's in that damn costume. It might be I think the gag is it's a man in that costume.
Uh-huh.
but but in any case, Ellie is not this city's full of all different types of people, right?
Yeah,
Ellie could have been any number of things or a mishmash of any number of things, right?
yeah.
Ellie is a girl from the block. She
um
twerks, she swinging her ponytail, she got all the
yeah,
dance moves, she cutting the food, she this, that, all she doing all
yeah,
that
yeah,
because that is the energy of New York City. All the cultural shit, all the style shit is coming from those girls.
yeah,
So we're representing the actual street energy of women in New York City, and they
yeah,
are crushing it. And what they do last year, they won.
yeah,
Haven't won in I don't know how long. Right? That was the first championship. They've been around 20 something years. And it wasn't until they got in tune with the streets that they started winning.
No, that makes sense. That that makes sense because that yeah, that's a very relevant point that like it doesn't matter like what class you are in New York City, like everybody looks towards like a very specific like phenotype of woman in New York City, and like all like everyone in New York City, like every woman in New York City looks towards this very specific type of block girl. Doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your class, like that is the stereotypical New York girl that like when you leave New York, it seems like every woman from New York acts that way, right?
Even if they don't act that
Even
way,
if they don't
if
act
that
that way.
girl, if there's ever a conversation about girls from New
New
York,
York, it's
she's
that
the
girl.
type.
She's the type.
It's not your Wall Streeter.
Nope.
It's not the Ukrainian girl that's working in construction. It's not the Dominican police officer. No,
Nope.
it's
Nope.
the
It's your
block girl.
block girl. It's your girl from the block. Yep.
And they are kicking ass in that stadium. When I tell you they winning, they having fun, they playing Glorilla at like they going in. That
Yeah.
shit is fun. It is
Yeah.
fun. And I'm
Yeah.
just like that was a thing that was missing for that team. Is like you're trying to be the women Knicks. Though why would you want to be that? The Knicks
Yeah.
are ass.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be that?
Yeah, like the Knicks brand is literally like more wrapped up in Madison Square Garden than it is the actual fact that like they're the Knicks. Like I was just talking to somebody about to this. I was just talking to somebody about this to like the value of stadiums
Mm-hmm.
and like how like the whole ethos of the Knicks like used to be like playing in Madison Square Garden. If you've ever been to New York, like when like there's a train station that runs under Madison Square Garden, so like going through Madison Square Garden is a literal thing, and like that was what made like basketball and the Knicks the thing that like it ultimately became, because the Knicks have always been bad. Like, they might have had like a good season here or there, but like, it was the branding of like the Knicks being New York's team because you could literally take a train under the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And
Even
like,
that, like since we brought up the Knicks, bro, look at how they're performing right now.
yeah,
That team right now,
has a couple New Yorkers on it or like tri state area dudes like on it. Yeah.
there's that. And this team right now is a you can make it here team.
Yeah.
Before they were trying to get, oh, bring Amari Stoudemire, they were already they not trying to make it here.
Yeah.
They made it. You need the people that's trying to make it
Like it
here.
here. Yeah.
And now they winning.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Angel City too that I think is actually like, as you can see kind of this year what's kind of happening is they're leaning away from like bringing in stars, like people who were already stars, and now they're like, no, like we're going to bring you in and we're going to make you a star, because that's what LA does. Like the cachet of LA is like, somebody from anywhere else, like, comes to LA because they want to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
And, Angel City's been doing a lot better this year since they moved away from like, the stars that we all know. Like, they still have a few of them, but the people that are really carrying Angel City right now are like, your Thompson sisters. They have like an undrafted like free agent who's like the second leading scorer in the league or something right now. Like, but those are people that they found, that they discovered, and was like, okay, like you came here to become a star, let's make you a star. Like, you're not already a star when you get here, because very rarely people move to Hollywood as stars,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the thing that is the cultural like energy that people like grab from is like, like I moved out here to become a star. Like you hear like songs written about it all the time, right? Like, or like, you hear people like talk about it culturally all the time, like, Fucking Midnight Train to Georgia is about somebody who moved to LA to become a star, didn't make it, is moving home. Like It
Right.
Never Rains in Southern California, like same thing. Like, these are some of the most like well-known songs in American culture, about this. So like, yeah, I fully take that point that like, yeah, like culturally, you really don't start like doing well until you kind of like get in tune with like really like what, you know, like what the culture of your area is.
What the culture of your area is and your place in it.
Yeah.
What can you contribute and bring that's different from everything else around you, especially in a New York or LA where you have so many competing products. You
Yeah.
have to find your own voice in the space. It's easier if you're, one of three professional teams, right? You can kind of do your own thing, but yeah, in these major metropolises, like you got to figure that shit out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because the Lakers and the Dodgers in LA already have a lock on the like we bring stars here like thing. So like if you're just gonna be another team, and the Galaxy too, like the Lakers, the Galaxy, like the Dodgers, like they already have a lock on like, we bring the pre-established stars here.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you for teams like you see it with like LAFC, you see it with like Angel City, like, you're gonna have to build your stars because that's probably the LA you're more in touch with.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like LAFC because like LAFC is definitely more of like a working class like organic LA than like the Galaxy. Like that's what the Galaxy were meant to be. Like the Galaxy were meant to be like star-studded lineups, like the Real Madrid of the MLS.
Yeah, that's how they got. It's literally the fucking Galacticos, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. They
literally said
literally
we can't be the Galacticos, so let's be
so
the
we're the
Galaxy.
Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, I think we've sufficiently unpacked this.
yeah.
This has been a good conversation. Good luck to Angel City. I hope they make the playoffs this year. I hope they win a playoff game this year. Um,
We shall
uh,
see.
yeah, we shall see. I hope Kristen Press gets better. She's been back in the rotation. She hadn't been playing a lot, but
Yeah,
like, I hope she gets better. I hope she gets minutes. I hope the Thompson twins do well. I mean, Angel City's a really interesting story. I just think as they periodically bubble up, it's really interesting to figure out or just talk about like, are they actually going to get it together or not and actually start like winning some games, or
yeah,
are they just going to be everybody's kind of branding sweetheart, you know?
yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We did a lot of conversation here about branding and sport, specifically as related to Angel City FC. We hope y'all took something valuable from this conversation. We appreciate y'all as always. My name is Rox Fontaine. My whole, my whole, my whole host, my co-host,
My host. Oh, wow. Tell them how you really think about me. Oh, wow.
my co-host Kenzel Washington. We up out of here, man. You got any last words for the people?
Yeah, man. Be safe on Memorial Day. If you're listening to this podcast over the weekend, it's Friday. Stay out the bookings, beloved.
Yes,
So
sir. As always, stay out
yeah.
the bookings. We up out of here, y'all.